If you ever had to look at a city to see why multiculturalism has failed, then you have to look at London. London is the perfect example of how multiculturalism was tried and experimented, and it blew up in the faces of those who were pushing for it. New York is another example, but I think London is a prime example. So it's a pretty long video. It's been put up by Rebel News. It says London is gone. It's 24 minutes long. So let's see what they have to say.
I visited a part of London that is unrecognizable. You are going to be shocked. The Islamization of the West is real.
So we have, on one hand, our tolerance and our freedom of speech, which is being abused against us.
Man are gonna get beheaded one by one, you dirty dude.
This guy was arrested and then he was released within a few hours on bail. This is how it works.
No. We are a tolerant country. The West is a very tolerant place. And the Islamists understand this, and they use our own freedoms against us.
All right, guys. We are here in the United Kingdom of Pakistan.
Oh.
Really? Uncivilized.
This should never have been allowed to blare the shrieks of Allahu Akbar over loudspeakers where everyone has to hear it. This is what they're trying in Lakemba Mosque, guys. This is what they're trying here. So it's been pushed back once. They're trying it again.
I recently traveled to London, England to cover the massive rally Unite the Kingdom organized by Tommy Robinson. I was sent there early as Keir Starmer started banning foreign activists, politicians, and even journalists simply because he disagrees with them like a good communist.
And you'll see it again on Saturday at a march designed to confront and intimidate this diversity and this diverse country. That is why this Labour government will block far-right agitators from travelling to Britain for that event.
On the ground, my goal was simple: document the consequences of mass immigration and how certain areas of London have changed, in some cases beyond recognition. Just like what I saw in France during the 2024 parliamentary elections. There is clear ghettoization, and that is a sign that integration has failed.
Assimilation has failed. They're perfectly integrated into the new French society. I'm sure they have bank accounts, they have these businesses, even though they're not paying any taxes, they're getting the welfare payments. So they're integrated, but they haven't assimilated. Why? Because the West, the woke left, or just the left of the West, didn't feel the need to do it. They thought that it's rude to ask people to let go of their cultures. That the whole idea of multiculturalism has failed. It's blown up in everyone's faces. Multiculturalism does not work, guys. It does not work. We have to say it as explicitly as we can. This is not an attack on people, individual people, but it is an attack on the idea of multiculturalism. And that's perfectly fine. It's a political statement, and we are political animals. And last I checked, free speech is still one of the most fundamental values of Western civilization. No matter how distasteful it might be to say that these people don't belong in Western society, we have to say, who said that it is... You can't say it. Like 70 years ago, we would have said it. We would have said it, nobody would have batted an eyelid. Actually, most people ignored it because Enoch Powell said it. Okay, they're playing Arabic music on these Bengalis and Pakistanis. They should have played a different music. Just saying.
Speak English.
Arabs will be really disappointed by that.
Oh, you don't speak English?
English I don't.
Oh, which language you talk? French?
Bengali.
Just only Bengali?
I bet your British taxpayers are paying for his entire family. Yeah, this is not Arabic.
So I went
not Arabs.
to Whitechapel alongside Stephen Thompson, founder of Visegrad 24, and Cam Higby, an independent journalist from the United States.
East
Welcome to Whitechapel. This should have never happened. You don't need to write it in Bengali. You don't have to. Whoever came up with these ideas, okay? I know nobody paid attention at that point, but now we have to demand to take that crap off. That's exactly what that newly elected reform councillor did. He took off the LGBTQ flag and all these other flags, and he replaced it with the Union Jack and the St. George's flag. He said, "Well, no, that's the mandate. We have a political mandate for that. So this is what we need to do. It might seem very cheap, but add that in your manifesto. Add that in your political speeches that we're only going to display English, no other language, nothing. We're not going to." I read a stat somewhere. I think Nuria Khan told me Britain spends hundreds of millions of pounds. I think it could be over $1 billion maybe on interpreter services. You know, when a Bengali woman comes to London and she calls her bank or the NHS or whatever, and then she can't speak English. So the British government provides them with interpreters, and the bill for those interpreters is in hundreds of millions of pounds. How many poor native British people can be fed with that money? Just saying.
London was a stereotypical white working class area. You can see it in the architecture. Right now we're in central London. You can see much more imposing, much better architecture, much taller tenement homes. None of this exists in East London. East London is full of working class real estate, and then there was an influx of Central and Eastern European Jews in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, and then starting in the 50s it became one of the most multicultural and one of the most diverse neighborhoods of London, in particular Bengalis. Bengalis are the single largest minority. I believe according to the last census they represent about 30-something% of the inhabitants. Bengalis are mostly Muslim. You have mosques around every corner, and then you also have, of course, the proximity to immense wealth, because you have the City of London and Canary Wharf right there. So you have on one hand this sort of self-imposed ghettoization where you have an increasingly dominant Muslim presence, an increasingly Islamized area, neighborhood. That's reflected in the city council. There is not a single white English person who is currently a councillor from Tower Hamlets.
How is that diverse? It's not diverse. It's monocultural then. If they make up 30% of the population, then how come not a single white person is in there? How? Actually, what I don't understand is what's wrong with the remaining 70%. That's what I don't understand. Why do they not see anything wrong with that? Or it's just in their nature to be submissive? Just for the sake of diversity, just for the sake of monoculturalism here, I would say no. We need to get some diversity in here. You only make up 30% of the population of this area, yet you account 100% in the local government.
The city council, there is not a single white English person who is currently a councillor from Tower Hamlets. The recently re-elected Lord Mayor had previously been convicted of corruption and banned from running for 10 years. That ban has ended, and he was just re-elected as Lord Mayor. He is also Bengali. The majority of the local councillors are Bengali, but you have that great irony that as you look, you can see the walkie-talkie building, you can see the Kirk, and you can see all of these skyscrapers. So there's this dichotomy between the extreme.
Look at this. I always say this. I'm a big believer. Third worlders bring their third worldly habits. Look at that. What is that? What is that? It's very Bengali. It's a very Bengali or a third worldly thing to do.
This dichotomy between the extreme poverty and ghettoization of a large part and large area of Whitechapel, to the extent that Whitechapel Station has the name of the station is in English, right next door to it, it's in Bengali. And then as you look across the road, as you look down the road, you can see these towering skyscrapers and all of London's immense financial wealth.
All right, guys, we are here in the United Kingdom of Pakistan. If anything is colonization, it's this. You can come get your snacks off the floor if you want. We've got lots of nice Pakistani fabrics here. We got children's toys. We went to Tower Hamlets, and it was like the third world. The bazaars in the middle of the road. You'd have nice old English buildings like this in just what looks like a landfill in front of them. But it's like a bazaar, and they're selling fake Louis Vuitton bags.
That's a very good description. Beautiful London architecture, and it's like a landfill in front of them.
Just what looks like a landfill in front of them. But it's like a bazaar, and they're selling fake Louis Vuitton bags, and they're selling Gucci bags.
So currently, the United Kingdom is still, of course, a majority white country. Certain data suggests that it will be minority white British by 2065. But if you look at millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you have that pyramid where increasingly white British people are a smaller share of millennials, smaller share of Gen Z, and an even smaller share of Gen Alpha than in previous generations. So we might be 82%, according to the last sentence. The UK might be 82% white British now. That's not the case of Gen Alpha, which is certainly not 82% white British. It's changing fast. You see it in Birmingham, you see it in places like Bradford, you see it in places like Luton Town. There is something like 11 cities and towns in the United Kingdom are currently minority white British. And the capital, London, is 1/3 white British currently. And as it's becoming less and less English, the English are moving out. There's an element of white flight, and it's only going to accelerate unless something is done to stop it and to reverse it. And obviously, the biggest problem of all is the most aggressive people in all of this are certainly the ones from Muslim backgrounds who they don't just ghettoize neighborhoods. They have a policy of an unwritten policy, but a policy of Islamization, of turning neighborhoods into areas in which anyone who is not Muslim, anyone who is not Islamic, is not welcome.
And they're hostile. They're actively hostile towards them. Look at Speaker's Corner. Go to this guy and ask him tough questions about Islam. When he's not going to be able to answer it, some Muslims are going to come and they're going to gang up on you. I've seen so many of those videos all the time. They always start with, "Welcome, brother. Let me tell you about Islam. Look what peaceful, our dearly beloved Prophet." And then you ask them about Aisha's age, the face changes. They go from and then some young thugs are going to come to you and they're going to try to provoke you and intimidate you.
The fact is, actively, if they come with a camera to try and talk to them, they will actively be chased out.
Yeah.
This didn't quite happen today. In fact, I think we were incredibly lucky. I think that it could have turned like this. So we were filming the East London Mosque, which is one of London's biggest and oldest mosques, one of the only ones in the UK that allows the adhan to be called 5 times a day. The imam will climb the tower, or not necessarily climb the tower, but use a microphone, and there will be speakers in the tower, and he'll call to prayer. We were there for the midday prayers, and we were filming the spillover from the mosque. The mosque is not big enough to accommodate the whole Muslim community, so there were numerous Muslims outside praying, and we were filming with my camera guy, and as we're filming, a car approaches, stands on the zebra crossing, and the man in the vehicle says, "I recognize you. You're Visegrad 24. You're a genocide apologist, you animal." And I approach him and I say, I'd love to have a discussion. We'd love to speak with you. I'd be happy to ask you about what it's like being a Muslim in London, about multiculturalism, about living in Tower Hamlets. This man kept insulting me, and as he was insulting me and I was standing there quite calmly doing my very best to engage him in a peaceful way, the congregation started leaving the East London Mosque, noticed the noise, and a large group of
short stumpy legs
Muslims ran up, amongst them Algerians, the young boy who shouted some of the worst obscenities, including when he found out that Visegrad 24 is an anti-Hamas outlet, certainly, and a broadly pro-Israeli, sympathetic to the Israeli cause outlet. He started shouting obscenities about wanting to murder members of the Israeli government and about wanting to behead Jews one by one. And he happened to be from Algeria. He was from Algiers. I'd spent some time in Algiers. I told him about before the interaction turned hostile, he even shook my hand and started to engage until he heard Israel, and then he just flipped.
Are you from Algeria? Please here.
What was I going to say? This right here, this guy shouting, this guy screaming, this don't represent Islam.
Look at him. So he is aware of the fact that Muslim behavior is taken as a reflection of Islam. So he's aware of that. He's trying to represent his religion, and he's gonna represent his religion in its truest form, i.e., as a hateful ideology. He knows. He's aware of that. He's not some ignorant person. He knows that if I say something that's going that's going to present a bad picture of Islam. So he's careful, but he's a Muslim after all, so he can't help himself. Watch how this ends.
Tommy Robinson, I don't agree with anything he said. Tommy Robinson, he's anti-Islam, anti-everything, anti-all of it. I'm not with it. If I catch Tommy Robinson, yeah, you know, if I catch Tommy Robinson, I'm a smoke. Yeah? But that's all I'm saying. Islam, big up Islam, respect everyone, respect every colour. Islam's perfect, we're not. Big up.
Would you like the United
See that BS? He threatens to smoke Tommy Robinson, which you're not going to do anything. You're a little, seriously, bro. You shouldn't be making any threats. Yeah, in a gang, you probably would. That's how these people usually behave. Just gang up on individuals. So he goes after him, threatens to kill him or smoke him, whatever that means. And then he says Islam respects everyone, all religion, all color. No, they don't. You just showed your behavior. You're threatening to kill someone just because of his political views, which are anti your culture, anti your religion. And it's a favorite thing of Muslims. They love to say that, oh, Islam is perfect, we're not. So in their minds, they believe that this is an acceptable reason. It's an acceptable excuse to say outrageous things. So then we can have plausible deniability. Because Muslims behave badly all the time. All the freaking time. Terrorist attack, harassing women, grooming gangs, whatever. So Muslims do that all the time. So this is their get out of jail card. Don't blame Islam. It's just Muslims are not perfect. Okay, especially when educated people like us, we know that their behavior is their behavior is actually a reflection of their culture, which is influenced deeply by Islam. It's no coincidence that not a single victim of the grooming gangs was a Muslim girl. Not a single victim. A few Sikhs here and there, because again, they're infidels. They're actually even worse in their eyes, worse than Jews and Christians. Most of them, predominantly white girls. This is not purely opportunism. I mean, it is opportunism, but it's not just that. I'm sure all of these thousands or however many have been convicted that keep coming out every month. There's a new trial. Are you telling me that none of them ever got an opportunity to get on with a Muslim girl? No. Muslim girls, they become victims of SA all the time by other Muslims. But those grooming gangs particularly, they don't do it. Like, for example, uncles and brothers and cousins, they do that like any other society. But the grooming gangs specifically were looking out for white British girls and infidels. That's why they got some Sikhs as well, and maybe a few Hindu girls as well. But they left out Muslim girls. So that's that particular element of their behavior is shaped by Islam, because we know how Islam sees non-Muslim women. Muslim women are told to, it's in the Quran, Muslim women are told to dress up in a particular way so they are recognized and not molested as non-Muslim women.
to be a Muslim country?
It's not a Muslim country. United Kingdom is not a Muslim country. We're not here to take over. We're here to just spread our beautiful religion, spread the peace, and spread the love. That's it, my brother.
By smoking Tommy Robinson. No, we don't need to kick you out, bro.
That's it.
But would you want everyone to be Muslim?
No.
But I want everyone to be Muslim.
Would you not?
I don't need to be.
No.
We don't want everyone
We want
to
it
be
to be a
Muslim.
Christian country.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
Would you be willing to talk to us
Why
on
are you living here? Go home then.
camera?
What
I appreciate
part of this
time.
country is Christian?
Which part of the country?
Why would he? So he said he wants the UK to remain a Christian country. Why would he not want to talk? What is he afraid of? What is he afraid of? Is he afraid that he will be caught out lying? Because we know, look, he's a bearded Muslim. There's no way he wants the UK to remain a Christian country. 100%. This is not your lipstick wearing. I mean, this is not your average lipstick Muslim. But why would he be afraid to talk about it on camera? Why? Is it because he knows that he's lying and he feels bad about lying, or he's worried that he's saying something that the rest of his community members will not approve of? You see, it just doesn't. Nothing adds up with these people. I think they feel that they're living a contradictory life, and that's why every person wants to live a logically consistent life. That's why, like, if I want to live in the West, then I have to live in a certain manner and I have to pick a side. I'm not picking the Muslim side or the Pakistani side or my cultural ancestral side. I'm not. So I've declared it. And yes, there might be a cost, which I don't really care. But they can't do that. So in order for them to pick their lane, they have to pick a side. Either be like Muhammad Hijab, be loyal to Islam and your cultural ancestry and say, say that, oh, I'm a proud Muslim and I'm a Muslim first. So you have to adopt that line. You cannot be like Majid Nawaz was, like you remain a Muslim and then attack Islam. It's a logically inconsistent position. And I think a lot of lipstick Muslims are living that. And the moment they get into this debate, they are forced to pick a side or pick their lane, because that's how I think humans normally behave. It's no accident. Muslims are not stupid when they're telling you that we want Sharia in the UK, we want to take over, and they're saying this openly. They're saying these things openly. It's because they want to live their lives in a logically consistent manner.
Willing to talk to us on camera? I appreciate that.
What part of this country is Christian?
Which part of the country? It's a Christian country.
What part of this country is Christian?
What part of the country?
What part of this country is Christian?
Are you asking me why I think the United Kingdom is? Why is it?
The vast majority of British people are Christian. We still have Christian traditions. We have designated seats in the House of Lords that is dedicated to members of the Church of England, I think, and all of its traditions are driven from Christian values.
Because the state religion of the country is the Anglican Church, and the head of the country is the king.
Why is it Christian? Who follows Christian?
Oh, in the sense of, are English people Christian? Is that the question you asked me? I would argue, so my position on this would be, I admire Muslims for...
No, you don't.
Of course I do.
I've got your channel.
Are you going to let me speak? Are you going to let me speak?
I know.
What's your channel? What's your channel?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it. I'd say, no, yeah, well, it's a Christian country founded on Christian values. Yes, individuals, Christianity as a faith in individuals is declining, but that doesn't change the underlying foundational values of this country. And I don't want it to be replaced with Muslims. Christianity might be declining, and it might be becoming more and more. Sorry, the video is getting really long, so I'm going to end it here. So Christianity might be declining in the UK, but Christians are not converting to Islam. So I have an actual statistic here. Let me show that to you. As Christianity goes down, no religion goes up. They're not converting to Islam. They're becoming atheistic. And us atheists, especially Western atheists, need to lift our game. We need to acknowledge this reality, Christian reality, the role and impact of Christianity in building Western civilization. And I'm happy a lot more and more atheists are leaving wokeism, and they are acknowledging that reality. So I want future England, whatever it's going to be, it has to be made up. All Western countries, whatever new values we form, they have to be formed by these two groups, not this one or not the other ones, not Muslim or others, no. And these people have obviously already proven that they hate both Christian fundamentals, and they also hate Western fundamentals, which are a fusion of secularism, liberalism, and Christian values, and some Greek and Roman democratic values. And it's the same. It's the same in Australia as well. And I'm sure it's the same. And look at this. How similar is that? Look at this. As Christianity goes down, every peak and trough is actually matched conversely in the chart. Look at this. It started from here. Nearly 0% people were atheists in Australia in 1950s. And Christianity was at 85%, probably 90%. And look, it's just coming down. I'm not gloating over it. I think maybe this line should not have come down this drastically. But whatever it is, whatever we decide, whichever direction we're going to go, and however Western civilizational society is going to evolve, it has to evolve with the consensus of Christians and seculars, as it is shown by our demography. No, these other minorities, they don't get a say. Sorry, they don't. Otherwise, we'll lose it. Otherwise, the whole of the West is going to look like East London or Tower Hamlets, which is, I'm sorry to say, disgusting.